forgive the outfit. I've just finished a charity walk for scoliosis. Bless their little spines. My name's Ngaire Bennett. Thank you. I used to host a television program called Youth Centre, a place for New Zealand's youth to get centred. Don't worry, I don't expect any of you to remember it. You're all far too young, and some of you are a bit too foreign. It's okay, it's a crazy world out there at the moment, isn't it? So, welcome to New Zealand. We're very happy to have you here. We don't all have to apply for residency though, do we? But I mean, please do enjoy your visit. It's funny in this light, I keep thinking I see a hair. Is there a... I think I might have... You'll have to forgive me, I'm a woman of a certain age. Oh, you should have seen me after lockdown. You know the bit in a cowboy movie where somebody walks into a saloon and everybody goes quiet and the piano player stops playing? It was like that the first time I walked into the Casey clinic after lockdown. There was an audible gasp from the staff. It was very hurtful. But you know, there's only so much I can achieve at home alone with a tube of feet and a silky lit exfoliating glove. But never mind. So anyway, it's funny that as someone who spent most of my career giving advice to children, I never had any children of my own. I know, it's sad, isn't it? I always wanted them, but unfortunately my husband Noel suffers from a debilitating medical condition called vaginal reluctance. We tried other ways around it. We tried IVF, but to be honest, I was never really comfortable with the idea of my baby's life starting with Noel hunched over in a medical clinic, pumping his spoof into a plastic cup. I mean, what if it somehow affected my baby? What if I gave birth to a little boy who could only be sexually aroused by plastic cups? What if one day I get a phone call saying, Ngaire Bennett, this is the police. There's been a terrible incident. Can you come down to Briscoe's and bring a cop? So, it's not worth the risk, is it? Better to just accept that if God had meant for me to have babies, He would have made my husband a heterosexual. But that's okay. I get to spend lots of time with my niece and nephew. My sister Joyce. She's what we call a single mother. Not for want of trying. I don't know if you know the phrase, dress for the job you want, but I think Joyce must want to be a slut. I have been to safari parks with less leopard print. That's why she's been all the way through Tinder. She slutted away through there trying to catch somebody, completed it, didn't catch anybody, so she moved on to Grindr. And Grindr, the one for the gay men. I think trying to catch one of them in a moment of weakness. And Joyce doesn't look much like me, in a certain light she can look quite butch. But she didn't trap anybody there, so she moved on to Blinder. Blinder is a dating app for people who are very difficult to look at. So, while she's slutting her way through those monstrosities, I get to spend some time with her children. So there's little Bethany, she's 14 now. She's becoming a little bit of a so-and-so, to be honest. She thinks she's a goth, or an emu, or whatever they're called. She spends all the time hanging around in the bookshop, just trying to look tortured and depressed. But she doesn't buy anything, she just lingers like a persistent cough. Hangs around in the women's poetry section, fingering Sylvia Plath. But don't get me wrong, I understand. I went through the same thing when I was her age. 1981, the summer of 81, I bought a purple cardigan. And you couldn't get it off me. Sweltering it was. I was sweating like a fat lass. And I'm not saying that Bethany is overweight, but she's a big unit. I was there when she was born. She nearly split Joyce open like a wishbone. There was a lot of blood in that delivery room. It looked like Gallipoli. Well, literally, one of the nurses was Turkish. We didn't say anything. Fortunately, her little brother Dean, that birth was a little easier, though not without drama. I remember the obstetrician was, a very distinguished, very handsome-looking older gentleman. And while he was down there, fossicking in Joyce's nethers, I said to him, with a little bit of a wink, I said, I bet it's not the first time you've been wrist deep in one of those. Well, he could not keep a straight face because he was having a stroke. Fortunately, we barely needed him. You know, little Dean, it wasn't so much like a birth as like somebody spilled a little bit of milk, just slopped out. A very pale, spindly, weak little boy. Needs a special wrist brace just to eat an apple. Although he's turned 12 now, and those spindly wrists are getting a lot of exercise. I'm telling you, I go around to visit Joyce, she opens her front door, pow! You just get hit in the face with a stench of zinc. Telling you, there's not enough bananas in the world to replenish that boy's potassium. And Joyce and I will sit at the table and we'll have a cup of tea and a toffee pop, and she won't say anything, and I won't say anything, but we both know that up in that bedroom there's a handkerchief that looks like it's been battered and deep fried. You could pick it up with a pair of tongs and it wouldn't bend. You could club a baby seal with it. Alright, that's enough from me. See you next Tuesday. Ka kite.